A group of friends go hiking in the mountains, but they take a wrong turn into the territory of a deadly hidden cult. Brutal traps, shocking twists, and pure survival horror. This is Wrong Turn 2021 Explained. We begin with Scott, a worried father driving to the Renwood Police Department. He's there to report the disappearance of his daughter, Jennifer, her boyfriend, and their friends, after they went hiking along the vast forested Appalachian Trail. Scott explains that he used to talk to his daughter several times a week, but it's now been 6 long weeks without a single word. The last message he received from her led him to this very town. Inside the station, the police chief brushes off his concern, insisting that many young travelers pass through and that Renwood is a quiet, uneventful place. But Scott isn't convinced. His instincts tell him something is terribly wrong. The officer finally agrees to make the disappearance public and asks Scott to sign a few documents. Later, Scott wanders through the small town, visiting stores, diners, and motels, anywhere his daughter might have been. But no one remembers seeing Jennifer or her friends. Every unanswered question deepens Scott's dread, and his search is only just beginning. Driving through the town, he observes that people are looking at him strangely, suspicious of the new visitor. In a bar, Scott asks Rhodes if he has seen his daughter and the young people. Soon, Rhodes claims he saw them and believes they went north to a more dangerous trail and in the vast forest reserve. They may already be lost and probably dead. Back in the past, weeks earlier, we meet Jennifer and her boyfriend, Darius, who is driving the car where their friends are also present. They are headed to Virginia, and along the way, Darius reassures his girlfriend to enjoy the trip. She relaxes and asks for a kiss when suddenly the tire bursts. They stop the vehicle to change the tire and do not notice that someone is watching them from inside the forest. After that, the young people arrive in the town of Renwood and rent rooms to stay in. Mrs. Allen, knowing about the young people's trip to the forest, advises them to stay on the trail and never leave the marked area of the forest. Jennifer's friends are Adam, his girlfriend Mila, and the other couple, Louis and Gary. While they drink, Rhodes approaches them and offers, along with his friends, to be guides for the group of young people, claiming he knows the Appalachian area well. Darius declines the offer, but the man insists that if they need help, he will always be around. Adam believes the man is drunk and mocks him. Rhodes returns to the table and claims that young people are the problem of the world, stating that they are despicable and have never even worked. Jennifer, not liking the affront, denies the accusations and states that Darius is a leader of a clean energy organization not seeking profits. Mila is an oncologist, Adam is a website developer, and the other couple owns 2 restaurants in New York. Jennifer asks the man what good he does, and he does not answer, only saying that they will meet again soon. After leaving the bar, they come across someone strange standing beside the car. They find the situation odd, but Adam scares him off by throwing a glass bottle at him. Later, Jennifer communicates with her father, telling him where she is and that they are fine. She then goes to the room to spend the night with Darius. While they are dating, they do not realize that someone is closely watching the group. The next morning, Jennifer goes for her morning run and encounters Edith and her daughter Ruthie, who, upon seeing Jennifer, runs to the trailer. The woman makes some bracelets and the young woman buys one from her. Minutes later, the young people set off to begin the trail, and as Rhodes had told Scott, the young people enter the trail to the north. They enjoy the beautiful nature around them and are enchanted by the scenery. After walking for a while, Darius reveals he has a plan for the trip and states they will search for an old military fort. Jennifer confronts him, speaking about the innkeeper's advice, who warned the young people not to leave the trail. But Darius manages to convince the young woman to go with them. The group then follows the unknown path without worries until Mila almost falls off a cliff. Darius claims they are close, but soon realizes he's a little lost, so he asks the others to return to the trail while he climbs the slope alone and will come back later. Suddenly, they hear something heavy approaching. Soon, a large tree trunk appears heading toward them. The group runs desperately, stumbling over branches, falling to the ground, and crashing into trees. Unfortunately, Gary gets trapped under the trunk of a tree and ends up being crushed. The other young people, terrified by what just happened, realize they have many injuries. After recovering, they search for the couple, Louis and Gary, but end up finding the younger one sadly looking at the crushed body of their dead companion. Louis becomes furious and blames Darius for the tragic event. Adam stops him from attacking his friend, stating that they are not to blame since they did not make the tree fall on them. The group seeks a solution before it gets too late, when Jennifer notices that someone is watching them behind the trees. They look around but find no one. The situation leaves the young people saddened, unsure of what to do. The group says goodbye to the deceased's body, but Jennifer assures Louise that his companion would be rescued later. Hours later, the group is still in the forest and it is already night. They set up the tent to spend the night there, since they are lost and there's no point in continuing at that moment. Jennifer wakes up in the middle of the night, hearing something, and being quick, sees in the lightning light that someone is outside. She cannot see and ends up going back to sleep. The next morning, part of the group cannot find Mila, and while some go looking for her, Adam realizes they slept inside an old cemetery. Darius finds a placard identifying the location, dated 1859, stating that several families are buried there. The young people do not find Mila or their cell phones. Then Jennifer mentions she thinks she saw someone during the night, but she is unsure who it is. Worried about his fiancée, Adam goes to search for Mila with his friends. They shout for her in the forest until Jennifer and Adam find Ruthie alone behind a tree. Adam imagines the girl knows something, so he runs after her, but he trips and is stopped by Jennifer from causing harm to the girl. Soon, the others notice that Adam is trapped in chains and something is pulling him. They try to free him, but Adam is suddenly yanked with force and pulled into a dark hole. Darius tells the others that the hole must be led to an old mine in the area and wants to go in to rescue his friend. But Jennifer warns him that someone is causing harm to them and that they need to get out of there immediately. She marks the location and they leave. Minutes later, the trio comes across a cabin in the forest and finds many materials, including equipment and cell phones of possible adventurers who passed through the area previously. Hearing something, the trio takes shelter and observes who is approaching. They see two men dressed in camouflage clothes and animal skull masks carrying Adam as prey. Fearing for his friend's life, Darius grabs an object as a weapon and intercepts the enemies. The other young people help with the confrontation, but the men do not speak their language. Suddenly, Adam gets up and with a piece of wood strikes one of the men, killing him furiously, thinking they had killed his fiancée. The other man runs away, and soon after Mila appears, claiming she had hidden after seeing the two strangers and therefore did not respond to her friend's calls, fearing to be found. The group questions what to do, and while Jennifer wants to get out of there and call the authorities about what is happening in the forest, when suddenly Darius triggers a trap and is injured in the shoulder. The group knows that the place they are in is dangerous and needs to get out quickly, but they do not realize that the enemy is very close to them, camouflaged in the trees. While the friends walk distractedly, Louis is captured and no longer seen by their companions. Suddenly, noises are heard coming from the forest, and among the leaves and trees, Adam realizes that several people are surrounding them. Fearing for his life, he asks them to run. Noticing that there are many camouflaged in the area, Darius and Jennifer run as well. Unfortunately, Mila falls into a hole and wooden stakes injure her brutally. Adam looks at the situation and does not know how to help, showing cowardice as he runs away to save himself. The young woman stays in the hole, crying for help, until a masked man approaches her and finishes her suffering with an arrow.
Adam runs through the forest and someone knocks him down. The man is quickly hooded and dragged by the masked men. The other couple takes shelter between the rocks as the hunters search for them. Suddenly, Darius is dragged away and Jennifer is left alone. Soon, a masked man appears behind her and knocks her out. The scene shifts to Scott's house, where he is having breakfast with the family and wonders if there is any message from his daughter for his new wife. She says no message has arrived, and then he leaves a voicemail for Jennifer, unaware that something terrible has happened to her. Back to Jennifer, she wakes up and sees that she is tied up inside a dungeon. She calls for help, but no one will hear her as she is trapped several meters underground in some area of the forest. Surprisingly, Edith appears, opening the hatch and warning Jennifer that if she wants food and water, she must remain silent. Jennifer cries in despair, unable to believe what has happened to her and her friends. Minutes later, now calm, she receives food and water, and Edith lowers a ladder for the young woman to exit. She sees her friends outside, the only survivors. They are hooded and taken to another place. Through the fabric gap, Jennifer realizes they are being taken to a hidden village in the forest with several people working artisan jobs while others wearing masks guard the place. The group is taken inside a house resembling a small chapel, and there, after kneeling, they meet the host called Venable, responsible for the quick trial that will occur. Venable states that they will be judged for the death they are responsible for. Adam and Louise try to speak, but they are silenced, and only Jennifer will be their spokesperson. The accuser, Hobbs, begins to speak, stating that Adam is arrogant and shows that he does not like them. Morgan, another accuser, claims they were hunting moose in the forest and found Adam unconscious in one of their traps. And then they decided to help him by taking him to an area where he could be found, but were attacked by his other friends. Morgan states that when Adam woke up, he killed his brother. Jennifer speaks that they did not know they were good people and feared the two men who were dressed in a hostile manner. Venable's daughter, Edith, asks for the truth if Adam really killed one of theirs. Fearing for her friend, Jennifer states he did not. Venal then asks the little girl, Ruthie, who wanders in the forest, to tell what she saw, and then she says, yes, it was Adam. In defense, Jennifer argues that Adam feared for his life and killed the man in self-defense. However, the court, presided over by Venable, finds Adam guilty, and the sentence is death. When he was about to take him to finish him off, he breaks free from the ropes and with a blade grabs Ruthie and demands freedom. Venal approaches him, stating that he is afraid to pay for his crimes. Adam insults him, but then Ruthie uses her small knife and wounds him in the leg, leaving him now bound to death. The others are found guilty of false testimony and sentenced to remain in darkness. They are taken to the punishment room, where Adam is tied up and about to receive his due sentence. When questioned about how Samuel was killed, Jennifer tells the deceased's family how it was. Then Venable takes a piece of wood and finishes the man mercilessly. After that, the trio is taken into darkness, where they receive the punishment of being blinded. Unfortunately, Luis is the first to be thrown into the dark cell, but Jennifer thinks of something and states they can be useful to the community. Darius has qualities that can help further develop the community. The counselor accepts the offer, but questions what she can contribute. Jennifer then states that she herself is the offer, saying she is healthy and can bear strong children, continuing the village's legacy. This makes Darius sad, but he cannot identify as her boyfriend. Venable approaches and asks if they are willing to be loyal to the village, and with a yes, he says there's no way for them to escape without facing death. Later, they participate in the cremation of the deceased and are then welcomed as part of their family. Next, Jennifer is taken to one of the houses and handed over to a man. She soon discovers that he is Venal, the leader who is without a wife. Delivered by her choice, Jennifer lies down with the man. Back in the present, we see Scott is still searching for his daughter and has not left the town where the young people passed. Later, while having dinner, Mrs. Allen approaches him to talk. Concerned about the disappearance, she tells Scott that she warned the young people to stay on the trail, but did not mention that there were people living in the mountain inside the forest. Asking who these people are, and Allen says they are known as the Foundation. However, no one knows them, and what is known is not spoken. Allen recounts that many years ago, several families went into the forest to live in the mountains because they feared the destruction of America. They wanted to protect their way of life, believing in the end of modern society, and that their way of living would be the foundation for rebuilding a new nation. The women warns that they do not bother, saying they do not interfere in their area. Allen states that many ventured outside the marked trails and never returned. Scott asks why no one does anything or alerts the competent authorities. Allen says they do not want to negatively involve themselves with such an organization, making everything seem like the travelers passed through and left. She leaves him alone while Rhodes watches very closely. After leaving the bar, he is ambushed by Rhodes's thugs, who approach him to confront him about the fact that he should stop searching for his daughter, claiming she must be dead. A police car passes by them, but the police chief, knowing what happens, does not stop. Then Scott is beaten until he loses consciousness. The next day, we see him determined to find his daughter and not caring about what Allen says, as he has decided to venture into the forest and go to the mountain to find Jennifer. Aline, fearing for Scott's life, says that she can help him and takes him to a hunter who knows the area. Scott meets Ed, Aline's nephew. He decides to help him in exchange for money to send his son far away and stay away from the Foundation, which left him with a scar on his forehead as a warning. This motivates him to go with Scott and perhaps repay the reception to the Foundation's hunters. Scott receives new equipment and sets off with Ed and his assistant Cooper. On the way through the forest, Ed stays alert, steering them clear of traps set for potential adventurers or animals. However, further ahead, Cooper ends up falling into a trap, and when his companions try to help him, they do not realize the deadly trap above them. Unfortunately, even Ed, with his experience, triggers the fatal trap, and only Scott manages to dodge. Scott takes the hunter's gun and continues alone up the mountain. It is nighttime when he finds the hidden village's fence, but he is surprised by two masked guards who knock him out. When he wakes, he discovers that it is Darius who dragged him to a part of the village where there are other people. He shows the weapon, fearing possible aggression, but someone from afar shoots an arrow into his arm. Suddenly, Jennifer appears, revealing that she and Darius no longer know him and that she has become an incredible warrior. Venable approaches Scott, who asks what he has done to Jennifer, but the leader states that the woman in front of him is no longer his daughter, but the chief's wife. Unjustly and cruelly, Venable states that the man will die at dawn for having trespassed into the village. Later, after a moment with Vanell, Jennifer sneaks out and frees her father, showing that she is still lucid and wishes to escape from the Foundation. They go to Darius's house and say it is time to leave. However, the young man who had different concepts says that this is his place and that he had found a useful way of life, so he will not go. Father and daughter sneak out but find the gate locked. Suddenly, Ruthie appears but does not reveal the two. Jennifer talks to her and asks if the little girl knows of another way out. The little girl leads them to the darkness cell and states that there is an exit down the hall. She does not want to follow the young woman, so she bids them farewell and leaves. Suddenly, Morgan arrives carrying an injured woman, and fearing they will be discovered, Jennifer shoots and kills the man. She and her father enter the dark cell, which is a place with steep tunnels, and shockingly, the punished and blinded prisoners still live in there. Jennifer finds her old friend abandoned and without hope, and then with sadness, she ends his suffering. Minutes later, they find the exit, but there is a small ravine with several tunnels as a challenge to be overcome. Suddenly, Jennifer is attacked by Edith, and with a blade, she is threatened. Fortunately, the young woman pushes both of them into the hole, using Edith as a support in the fall, knocking her out. While Scott searches to reunite with his daughter, Jennifer looks for a way out. Suddenly, Pobbs surprises her and forces her to the ground, but the young woman manages to grab her knife and wounds the man until he is no longer able to fight. Scott continues to search for his daughter and is surprised by Edith, but he finishes her off with his weapon. Then he finds his daughter and comforts her. However, they are both being hunted and need to hide. It doesn't take long before they are found by one of the hunters. Scott is out of ammunition, but Jennifer's aim is great, and with 2 arrows, she kills her enemy. Knowing that more enemies will show up, they arm themselves and run through the forest. After minutes of running, they seek direction until they are surrounded by Rhodes's men. He claims that he wanted to save the man previously, which is why he tried to stop him from proceeding. Rhodes says he will take them away. Soon the group is attacked and Jennifer is injured. The men shoot at the forest but hit nothing. When the enemy tries to surprise them, Scott finishes him off with an axe. They then run to the location of the vehicles on the trail, and before they enter, Venable shouts for Jennifer. Rhodes, however, throws a Molotov cocktail at him, stopping him from reaching them. The group drives back to the city, and soon morning arrives, putting an end to the terrible night, and father and daughter are relieved to have escaped the forest. Months later, we see both happy in their new life and planning to meet that night. When Jennifer arrives at home, she finds a businessman with her family. She is shocked to see Venable and Ruthie in front of her. Venable congratulates the young woman on seeing her pregnant, and she leaves his presence.
When Jennifer returns with a blade, she threatens the man to leave her home, but he retaliates. She confronts the enemy, but he is strong, shoving her aside and ultimately killing her family. Fortunately, Jennifer manages to get up and drives her other knife into Venable. Everything was just a possible future, but calmly, everyone is fine, and Jennifer asks for permission to speak with the businessman. Aware of the danger Venable can pose to her family, she makes a deal with him, saying she will go with him, but he must leave Scott and his family in peace forever. He agrees, and then the 3 exit the house, and Jennifer heads off for her new life in the hidden mountain. However, the ending she chose for herself is to fight, and we see the trailer pumping down the road, colliding with a car. Then, a strong woman, Jennifer, emerges from it, mercilessly killing her enemies, leaving none of them to escape. So, as a decision, she takes Ruthie in and will now live her life without any enemies to stop her. And that's the recap of Wrong Turn 2021. Crazy story, right? If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more movie recaps just like this. See you in the next one.